This doesn't mean that we have to get divorced in order to grow spiritually. It just means that if it happens, see it in a positive light, get rid of the anger, the hate, and see what we can learn. What happens if it's a death of a loved one? Then we have some of the previous lessons to learn, but also the lesson to be able to wake up to the fact that we are temporary. I don't know how people do this. I mean, people live their lives like ostriches. That is, it's like they're never going to die, and like the people that they are with are never going to die. And they don't even want to think about it, even hear about it. The seminar we did the previous weekend was one of the most important seminars that I think that we have done, and all the people that took it found it to be a very important seminar. But very few people came. It was about death. It was about facing our own death and facing the death of loved one. And one woman said, I said, why don't you come? It'll help you. She says, well, maybe it's too early. She's only 60 years old now. So I said, well, maybe it's too early. Maybe I should wait about 10 years. And I said to her, you could die tomorrow. You have no idea when you're going to leave the physical body. I mean, people die at 2 years old. People die at 10 years old. I mean, you have to wait to confront this reality. You have to be ready to die. Yeah? It's silly. People are very silly about death. They just don't want to look at it at all. So one thing would be, we would be forced to look at it and say, what happened here? Where is that being that I was loving, was giving me so much joy, which we did things with? Where is that being? Where did that being come from? Where did it go? What is it? When we see this body which we put in the earth and it will become earth again, then what was I loving? This earth? I was loving the earth? Or I was loving some energy, and where is that energy now? What is that energy made of? What is life? What is death? What is the purpose of life? My father's assassination was a very important point in my life which forced me to look at this deeply and to see and to investigate what is life, what is death, and what conclusions can I come to. And these conclusions are in the book, The Mystical Circle of Life, which is available for you in English also on the shelves. Also, the death of a loved one becomes a challenge to be able to accept the will of God. Many people come to me and they say, I don't believe in God, or I don't believe God loves me, if He does exist, because I prayed so much for this not to happen, and it happened, and so how could there be a God? And this is like saying to somebody that you exist only if you give me what I ask from you. Otherwise you don't exist. It's pretty silly. I mean, either I believe in a higher wisdom. I'm asking for something for myself. How am I sure that this is the best possible solution for this other soul's evolution or for my evolution? Obviously, it's usually better for my evolution if I lose that on which I am depending, because then I have to learn to find an inner source of strength, an inner source of security and self-worth. So obviously I'm going to be very subjective of what I'm asking. I think that the best thing is for my loved one to live, but that may not be what's best for my evolution as a soul, or what's best for that soul's evolutionary process. And of course, the death of a loved one becomes a powerful experience to which we are forced to re-examine our goals in life and our purpose in life. So we can see that each event which occurs in our life seems to be a combination of what we call fate, which is just the powers that we have created in the past, in the present, and in the future, in the past, in the present, and in our choice for our lessons that we're going to learn. And so we are creating certain events which come to us, which we see them as unrelated to us. We have created, however, those events. They are not created by some other being. So a car accident, or an earthquake, or the death of a loved one, or the birth of a child, a marriage, a divorce, all of these may seem to be events fated and beyond our conscious choice. But in reality, we have created them by our previous actions, by the present contents of our mind, and by the specific lessons that we have chosen as souls to learn in this incarnation. How we react to those events, which we ourselves have created, is our free will. Now, let's take a look at another example. Let's say that we are on this river, and this river is leading from a state of ignorance to a state of wisdom, from a state of feeling separate and alienated from everything to a state of feeling unity and love, from an unevolved state to an evolved state. And so there is this pressure, the evolutionary force which is pushing us all towards evolution, towards learning, towards manifesting a greater amount of our inner potential. We all have unlimited inner potential. We are all potentially Christs. Every one of us has the potential within himself to express those powers and those qualities of love and of wisdom and the powers over physical matter which Christ had and which the apostles had afterwards. And we are in a process of that evolution. Now, we are not aware of that. When we get into the physical body, we become attached to the physical body, and we're not so concerned anymore about evolution. We're more concerned about surviving. We're more concerned about having affirmation, having love, and being secure in the material world. When we become concerned about that, we want to make things not moving. We want to say, I want to have this person and this house and this situation, and I want nothing to change, because change creates fear. We fear change. It's not pleasant for us. So what's happened? We're in this river, and what we do, we sort of catch on to various twigs, we hold on to the rocks, we try to obstruct the process of growth. We don't want to move. We don't want to move on, because moving on means letting go of old attachments, letting go of habits, letting go of needs, and moving on to new needs. You see, there's an evolution of needs. When we were little children, we needed toys. And if anyone ever said to us, in a few years, these toys are going to mean nothing to you, we would say, they're crazy. This toy is everything to me. This doll is everything to me. And then it was a bicycle, and then it was a motorcycle, and then it was a car, and then it was a spouse, and then it was our job. And as we go through the years, what makes us happy changes. The needs that we have evolve. You see? So when I don't allow my needs to evolve, when I'm 60 years old and I'm still in my adolescence, then I'm not allowing my needs to evolve, and I'm stuck in my evolutionary process. I'm still trying to find happiness in the ways I found happiness when I was an adolescent. You see? And so when time comes to retire and to give up the life, the material life, and to direct my energy towards the divine, I'm still caught up in the ways of feeling satisfaction through material objects or through traveling and these kinds of things, rather than directing my energy now towards communicating with the divine. You see, in the Indian culture, there are the 4 ashramas, which are the 4 stages of life, which it's a pretty logical way of approaching spiritual life, because you don't deny yourself anything, but you always move on. So what is it? The first fourth of your life is learning. And your dharma is to learn and to serve your parents and to serve society and to respect. The second stage of life is having a family and bringing it up. So your dharma is to work, make money, feed your children, give them an education, and then when they're 20, 21, 22, this dharma finishes. And so you stop directing your energy and your money towards the children, and you start directing it towards society. And so you move away from the being enclosed in a family situation, and you give your energy and your money, your financial situation, you use it to help society. And then the fourth stage, the last quarter of the life, you give up even the social service, and you direct all your energies to communicating with the divine. In this way, the person doesn't have any suppressed needs. He has learned, he has brought up a family, he has served society, and leaving things behind him, letting his needs evolve, rather than trying to take drugs at 60 to keep up my sexual life, as society has led us. Let it go. Let it disappear. I mean, it's like not allowing, it's not saying that there's anything wrong with sex. It's beautiful. The thing is, it has its time and its place. And if I don't allow my desires, my needs to evolve, I'm stopping my evolutionary process. So, we are in this river. The river is pushing us. And so, what is happening? Every time I say, no, I don't want to move. No, I want to keep myself in my old way of thinking, in my old situation, then definitely negative events will start coming. Not because I'm evil, not as a punishment, but just as a pressure to force me to let go. You see, it has nothing to do with punishment, it has nothing to do with heaven and hell, nothing to do with evil or badness. It has simply to do with evolution. So the more I hold on, the more I need events which will say, get going, let go. And the longer I hold on, the stronger the events. And it's the same with illness. For example, I have a small stomach ache, and I say, well, I'll take a pill. I don't look at how I eat. I keep ignoring the stomach ache, I keep taking it, but then it becomes an ulcer. I'm still not ready to change the way I eat and the way I think, and then it becomes cancer. And I'm still not ready. Understand? So I ignore, first a very mild stimulus comes, then a stronger stimulus comes, and then a heavy stimulus comes. And in this case, I have the free will. I can react with a pill, or I can react in order to address, by addressing myself to the cause. What is the cause? The way I eat and the way I think, and the way I'm living my life. I'm running around, I'm not resting, I'm not strengthening my nervous system, I'm not exercising, I'm not breathing, I'm eating all these foods. So you can see that life is a balance. First of all, the fate that we experience is a fate that we create by our previous actions, by our present beliefs, and by the lessons we have chosen to learn. And then we have the free will to react to that fate, the fated event which we have created. But if we really have free will or not depends on two things. If I have discrimination, and if I have will. You can't have free will if you don't have will. So first of all, I have to see what is the mistake that I am making, which is creating the reality which I don't like. First of all, I have to have the discrimination, that clarity of thought, and then I have to have the willpower to be able to change my programming and approach this in a different way. So without willpower, there is no free will.